So the first discussion of today's session is based on this news article, which reads as a post-Iran war West Asia order can open strategic space for India. According to the author, a US-led and Israel-centric security architecture in the region, that is West Asia, has diminishing prospect. India's approach in such arrangements need a relook as the previous one has lost its relevance now. So, important from the perspective of UPSC examination, as this is an evolving condition and we cannot be affirmative, but at least we can discuss what could be the possible outcomes which will impact the interest of India. And that is what mentioned in your GS Paper 2 syllabus, that effect of policies and politics of developed and developing countries on India's interest. Now, as we know, that this 40-day war has come to an halt, and this is just a pause as per the statements by various leaders. So they have reached to a truce. Now they will be sitting together and discussing the terms of this truce, and long-lasting peace is warranted by everyone in the world because of the energy crisis and the loss of lives. But still, this 40-day war has brought in various new things in when we discuss about the geopolitical landscape or the geopolitical realities. So first thing, before understanding that what are those realities and how it will impact India, let us understand what is the significance of West Asia for India. So first is the strategic and geoeconomic significance. So as you know, that in recent news articles, if you might have read and gone through the newspaper, the dependence of the crude oil on West Asia has been highlighted very actively by each and every news reports. In fact, government also accepted that we are heading towards a crisis and we need to mitigate it as early as possible. As per the reports, the crude oil import from the West Asia peaked in this year, like 2025-26, it reached up to 54%. So out of the total crude oil import, 54% came from the West Asian countries. And as you know, the Hormuz Strait was the major strait or major choke point through which this incoming imports were coming to India and other countries. This was severely impacted. Furthermore, 45% of India's LNG import, that is natural gas import, and LPG imports is again dependent on West Asian country. If you will talk about LNG, around 44 to 45% is dependent. The dependency is on one country itself, that is Qatar. So you can see here in news also that headline, the front page news of various newspaper have highlighted this, that Foreign Minister Mr. Jaishankar as well as the Petroleum Minister Mr. Puri are outreaching to Gulf countries, outreaching towards Gulf countries to ensure the energy security. And that is how you can understand what kind of significance these areas, this a particular area holds for India. Apart from that, the trade is around 180 billion, out of which around 120 billion is import, while 60 to 65 billion is export. Again, it shows that how much we are dependent, at least for the energy security in this region. But it is also very important that 60 to 65 billion worth dollar exports we are doing. So basically our economy is very closely linked with the Western Asia. The second importance is the diaspora and remittances. So if you will take example of Saudi Arabia and UAE alone, around 7 million people are residing in these two countries only, the Saudi Arabia and UAE. All in all, around 9 million Indians are residing in West Asian countries. And more importantly, the remittances. Out of the total remittance that India receives from various, you can say, foreign destinations, 55% of remittance come from this zone only. That again speaks volume about the significance. Next is West Asia is central to the future connectivity plans of India. Name it the IMEC, name it Chabahar Port, name it Bandar Abbas Port, name INSTC, the International North-South Transport Corridor, which connects Russia with India. All of it passes through Iran and other countries in the Middle East. So again, the future connectivity plans are dependent on the stability of this region. And now every day you must be reading about Hormuz Strait, so no need to explain that, but you understand that 20% of the global oil is coming from that particular strait. Now, India, which has a dependency of around more than 90% of crude oil it imports, out of which around 50%, more than 50% is coming from the Gulf countries only. So, you can understand what is the significance of the stability in this region. Lastly, the security perspective. Now, most of the terrorism activities, many of them have their funding routes in the Gulf countries. So cooperation with the Gulf countries is very important for the counter-terrorism activities. So intel sharing, operations, extradition, all these things. So cooperation with, you can say, Middle Eastern country or the West Asian countries is very important from the perspective of security of India. Second, the energy security is squarely equated to the national security. So you cannot achieve national security targets or feasible national security levels until and unless you are having the energy security. Just imagine the country is in critical condition and at the same time country is out of the petroleum, crude oil. Then how they will tackle this external aggression or internal rife? So energy security is equal to national security. Another reason is overall stability of the region is having the direct impacts on India, because this is your extended neighborhood with a very close historical ties plus contemporary ties related to various issues which we have discussed. So stability in this region is pretty much important from the perspective of India. Now, what author talks about? What is the new geopolitical realities that we have learned in last 40 days? So first is the US dominance, which the experts believe was severely dented during these 40 days because on moral grounds, nobody supported this attack. Then the claim that we will achieve our objectives within few weeks, within few days, this war is stretched to 40 days. And now the truce is being asked by US itself, mediated by various countries, but they are ready to sit on the table. So what is the achievement? And now just imagine this. Gulf countries who had this belief that this is string of the US bases in their country which will protect their interest has failed miserably. So they have understood and world has understood that entire US policy was centered toward Israel, the protection of Israel, not the Gulf countries, because Iran, it attacked the partners of US like UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar. Every country was attacked by Iran and major losses and damages were you can say caused by these Iranian attack. So first thing that these Gulf partners have understood that US has failed to protect their interest. The US strategies was more centered towards their interest and Israeli interest. Second thing is loss of credibility of US itself. Despite asking for support, despite threatening for support, still NATO backing did not come, and this happened for the first time. Now, this again kind of caused a huge dent to the US prospect and US image, because for the first time, NATO did not come behind US. And this again gives a message that it would be more pragmatic, the geopolitics would be more pragmatic rather than coalition based or emotion based, or you can say the historical narrative which put in West versus rest of the world. So this narrative was also breached this time. Second thing, recently there was an article which says that China is the winner of this war without firing a single bullet, because US, a dominant power in the region, failed miserably, accused of several attacks and not protecting allies and all those things. Meanwhile, China has, and US President himself has praised the role of China in this truce. So again, you are validating their position. So China has emerged as a stabilizer in the region. A power which brought in peace in the region, while Russia, not directly but indirectly, Russia criticized this attack. Russia committed its support for Iran. Russia also committed its support against any future attacks and warned USA to not doing all this. Russia also established itself as a credible partner in the region. Most importantly for us, Pakistan, it has emerged as an intermediary. Now, we don't know what will be the final outcome, but as of now, it has emerged as an intermediary. So the lost reputation it had in the geopolitics, now it becomes again relevant. So it has gained the relevance. It is not just about bringing the peace. Pakistan again gained the relevance while India is sitting on the sideline. Now, this collective West philosophy that wherever US will go, entire European countries will follow, and wherever European countries' interest is in danger, jeopardy, then US will follow. So this formidable alliance, now there is fragmentation. It is a sign of weakening of this strong alliance. And now, due to all this development, due to failure of US, due to Israel-centric approach of US, due to formidable support of China and Russia, and then their role in bringing the truce, is pushing the Gulf countries to rethink their strategy, to diverse their strategy, that should we be dependent on US every time for our security, or we should be developing our own, or we should be needing more allies. And now, according to author, this gives a space for India. And what it is? First thing, so now when Gulf countries are looking for the diversifying partners, India can emerge as a trusted security partner. So India can gain its position as a trusted security partner in the region. Secondly, the reconstruction diplomacy. Now, war requires rebuilding, and Indian industries and corporations have already deep inroads into the Middle East and the Western Asian countries in terms of the construction industries, services industry, energy and all. So we already have a good footprint there. So we should be utilizing in the utilizing that into the rebuilding process. Third is the strategic autonomy that we will get. So if in finality US kind of withdraws from the region, or you can say the intervention of US, if it declines, it is going to help India, because now India will get the autonomy, and it can exercise its policy independently in the region. Lastly, India should be re-engaging with Iran, because now when US is on the table of for the truce, India can also renegotiate the terms and condition and can reinvent its partnership with Iran. These are the spaces that India can utilize, but there are challenges also. What are those? First thing, the energy security risk. So if Gulf countries are looking for diversified security partner, India and other countries have also learned their lesson that they should not be dependent on one region only. So in future, any conflict, because there are so many players, there are so many issues, and these countries are there and issues are there, only the US withdrawal will not solve the problem. So any future threat can again choke the supply of the energy, and that is where the challenge comes. Then the rise of Pakistan as an intermediary, which is too early to say that they have gained so much, but problem is they have gained the backing of US and China. And now what happened most of the time in history also, Pakistan starts rhetoric and aggressive posturing against India whenever it gets a backing from USA and China. So India should be very careful about this, because now again this revival can push them to take any such stance against India. Then China's role and influence in the region, definitely it is going to rise, and India need to find a space for itself to overcome this challenge and keep its relevance intact in the region. Then now India needs to do the balancing act. So again, now Israel is one party, Iran is one party, and other Gulf countries are also there. Now these three entities are dealing with one another, and India has to deal with each of them. Now balancing act would be more crucial, and dehyphenation will be very difficult to achieve in near time, because now there would be a new order where Iran has emerged as a regional power, Israel has emerged as a regional power, Gulf countries are looking for other options, China's influence is increasing. So here, to deal with all these different players, India need to reinvent or at least recalibrate its policy. It cannot now India cannot ignore one country for other, or vice versa. Then the connectivity projects. So these IMEC, especially the European route that we were trying to achieve, India in this MOU, Iran is not party to it. Now, countries like UAE, Saudi Arabia, Israel, Greece, Italy, all Germany, France, all these countries are party, but Iran is not party to it. While Chabahar port, again, the news reports are coming that India will renegotiate Chabahar port. So there is a challenge that you are acting on a connectivity project which excludes Iran, and you are going to talk about a port which again deals directly within Iran. Then the international north-south transport corridor, which starts from India and goes up to Russia, passes from Iran. So again, the balancing act. So one way you are excluding Iran, other way you are including Iran. So you need to maintain that balance. Again, according to author, it will pose a challenge for India. Then the security architecture flux, because every time just the end of war doesn't bring the peace, the long peace. So again, the uncertainty in the region will impact the regional instability stability in a negative manner, and then proxy conflicts and all will definitely going to affect and hurt India's interest, and again the calibration is required for the foreign policy. Lastly, this withdrawal is again a symptom that it is not just that western flank is vulnerable, India's western flank. So US is withdrawing from it, West Asian countries are reinventing, and while deploying the resources, somehow US has because you have to ration your resources, so you will pull out from somewhere to get into somewhere. So in South China Sea, US presence was reduced to tackle the Iranian war. Now, outcome of this war, now Japan, South Korea and other countries in that region, there also US acts as a net security provider. Now they are also considering to diversify their security, to think upon that whether US can provide the security or not. So again, now anything happening in South China Sea, any country which tries to become the dominant power there, it will have a spillover effect in the Indian Ocean also. So India's diplomatic outreach will be overstressed from western flank till the eastern flank. Everywhere the vacuum has been created, a new order will try to assert itself, and that will become again a challenge to deal on both the side. Broader implication include the lesson of multipolarity and minilateralism. So there is a rise of issue-based coalition with flexible partnerships. So that is why you have seen that many countries have not come in support of US and Israel. And then there again, the lesson has been learned that entire world, including India, needs an energy transition towards renewable energy. Plus, the dependence on Gulf countries should also be diversified, and we should be looking for other sources also. Lastly, second last, the decline of ideological blocks. So the West versus rest of the world, this theory kind of failed this time. This theory was dented this time because NATO did not come, France did not come, UK did not come. Many countries, they did not come with their military might behind USA. So again, the more pragmatic and pragmatism dominating international relations are on unveil, and India has to learn its lesson that it should also go in the same direction. Then we have also learned that how interdependence were weaponized. So choking Hormuz Strait was a master stroke where interdependence, the crude oil dependence, was weaponized. An arm twisting tool was used. So again, this has been a lesson for every country that anything can be weaponized, from drones to the interdependence, and definitely it will affect the outcome of the war. So these were the challenges and broader implication for India. What is the way forward? So first thing is the strategic recalibration. So we need to balance with Israel, Iran and Gulf simultaneously. And if you will look into the history or you can say the recent times, India has been able to achieve this. And with each country, it has a separate bond and very strong relationship. It is only the US sanction which always disturbs this balance vis-a-vis Iran especially. So again, India has to reinvigorate, and with full efficiency, it should be re-energizing the relation with all the partners. Then it should be avoiding over tilt anywhere, which India has never done, though there were accusations that India is tilting towards Israel. But India has been dealing with every country on equal footing, more or less. So more balanced approach is required. Then engagement with Iran should be deepened after this truce. Thirdly, there should be more defense and security cooperation with the countries of the Middle East or West Asia. So joint exercises, intelligence sharing, maritime security role expansion, all should be done so that you can put yourself as a viable alternative. Then the reconstruction opportunity that is there, you have already a strong footing there. You should be utilizing them, harvesting them, those benefits. Plus, you should be also strengthening the trade agreements. Further, the diaspora protection framework should be created. So Operation Ganga and Kaveri were a stellar example where India evacuated its citizen. Similar evacuation readiness should always be there, because in global scenario you never know when you are going to war and which area is going to become part of a conflict. Plus, labor agreement should be done with the country so that the interest of the citizens should be protected. Lastly, stay ahead of the curve. So you need to anticipate the outcomes, you need to anticipate the future strategies, you need to anticipate what is about to come and act accordingly. So you need to anticipate, because US president is going to visit China very soon. So you need to anticipate these shift and these rebalancing and recalibration, and according to that you should be making the regional alliances. Now based on this is the practice question, which says discuss how the evolving security architecture in West Asia after the Iran conflict can reshape India's engagement with the region. A 250 word answer, 15 marker question. Try to write it.